Escape from Tarkov is a first-person, extraction-based looter shooter. It's very hardcore and unforgiving with one of the steepest learning curves in any video game. If you've never played or seen Tarkov before, there are two games that you might be familiar of and you might recognize that are fairly similar to what Tarkov is. There is Dark and Darker, which is just a medieval version of Tarkov, and then there's the Cycle Frontier, which you can no longer play anymore, but when it was out, it was fairly similar. When you first load into the game, you'll be asked to set your name. After that, you'll be presented with two options of Bear and USEC. There are pros and cons to whichever side you pick, but to be completely honest with you, it doesn't really matter too much just right now since you're new. What you need to focus on more is just learning the game. So basically, what I want you to do is pick whichever one seems cooler to you and then roll with it. After you set your name and pick your faction, the next thing you'll be dealing with is your stash. Your stash is where you store all your excess loot that you want to keep, like gear that you get from killing people, as well as items that you pick up throughout the raid that you're going to need for other stuff like trading and your hideout, which we will get into later. Once something is in your stash, it is safe until you either decide to bring it out with you into a raid or you decide to sell it to one of the traders or on the flea market. And as I just mentioned selling your loot, there are 8 in-game traders. Each of these traders have a different specialty in terms of the items that they sell and buy, but basically what you do is you buy stuff from them like guns, ammo, meds, and then you also sell stuff to them like all the different kinds of items that you find throughout the raids. These traders also have tasks, which are basically just side quests that you do for them, which increases their rep. Now, what rep is for a trader is as your rep increases and your level increases, you get better and better stuff from that trader. So I strongly recommend prioritizing doing your tasks and trying to level up as fast as possible. The last kind of market that there is in this game is the flea market. The flea market is the player-controlled market in the game. It's where you do most of your buying and selling. There are a few limitations when it comes to selling armor, guns, and ammo, but the flea market gives you the best bang for your buck when it comes to selling items as well as buying them. When it comes to the guns in Tarkov, just about every gun in Tarkov can be modded, but some have more options than others. When you're modding a gun, the attachments you put on your gun each have stats. The better the stats on the attachments, the better the stats your gun will have overall. It usually depends on the kind of gun build that you're going for, but ideally you want to have a lower recoil stat and a higher ergonomics stat. What recoil is just like most other FPS games, it's the amount of kick your gun has when you shoot it. The less recoil your gun has, the less kick there is when you're shooting it. The two main things having a high ergonomic stat does for you is it lets you ADS your gun for a longer amount of time without running out of arm stamina, and it also lets you ADS faster. With the guns in Tarkov also comes different gun calibers, but with the different gun calibers comes different kinds of bullets that are better for different kinds of things. Some bullets are better for shooting straight through a player's armors, and some are better for shooting players in unarmored areas. Now we're going to talk about body armor and helmets. What they do is exactly what you'd expect they probably do, is they protect you from bullets and they make you take less or no damage when you get shot in the armor or the helmet. Both helmets and armor have an armor rating starting from level 1, which is the worst, going all the way up to level 6, which is the best. To get specific about helmets and how they protect you, when you inspect a helmet, they have a stat that shows you the chance that a bullet will ricochet off of your helmet. So no matter what helmet you're wearing, what level it is, or how good of a bullet the other person is using, there is always a chance that the bullet just bounces off the helmet and you take minimal damage. But if the person is using good ammo and the bullet does not ricochet off your helmet, you are more than likely dead because headshots are one shot, one kill in Tarkov. Now, when it comes to actually playing the game, you have two different kinds of raids. You have your Scav raids and you have your PMC raids. Your Scav raid is pretty much just a free gear set that you get to go into raid with every, say, 25 minutes. It's just a good way to learn maps, loot around, and make money because there's no risk when you go into these raids because everything that you start with, you get for free. And if you die, you don't lose anything. So if you're new to the game, I strongly recommend using your Scav as much as possible so you can learn the game and get a feel for it and all the maps. Since we're on the topic of Scavs, we're going to talk about the different kinds of AI that are in Tarkov. There's AI Scavs, Raiders, Rogues, and Scav Bosses. An AI Scav is the most basic kind of AI that they have in Tarkov, and it's the one that you'll see walking around the map the most. It's the least geared AI in the game and the easiest to kill. Raiders are one step above Scavs. They're a little bit more geared, and they're also a little bit harder to kill. The reason they're harder to kill is because they generally have better stuff than just normal AI Scavs. After that, we have Rogues. The Rogues can only be found on Lighthouse at the water treatment plant. They're really, really hard to kill, so if you ever go to the water treatment plant, be careful because, you might get rocked trying to kill them. And then finally, we have Scav Bosses. Scav Bosses are specific to the map that you're playing on. Each map in Tarkov has its own special Scav Boss that is dedicated to that map. Scav bosses are the hardest AI in the game to kill, but with that comes also really good gear. When you kill a scav boss, you have the chance to get the best items in the game. The scav bosses being really hard to kill and giving good gear also means that they have specific spawn points and that they can only spawn at specific areas. So these areas where the scav bosses can spawn generally tend to be hotspots. The last thing I would like to add about talking about AI is player scavs. We talked about it just a second ago in the video, as you can do your own scav raid, but player scavs are just as you would go in and scav into a raid, are players going in as a scav. So just be careful as you're going around every map, whether you're on a scav or a PMC, because not every scav that you're going to see walking around is an AI, so just be careful. Because player scavs are definitely going to be more dangerous than AI scavs. Next, you have your PMC raids. Your PMC, it is your main character. This is the character you do all your quests on, and the character you'll probably spend the majority of your time playing on. I know I did a really fast explanation of what your PMC is, but that's just because there's not a whole lot to exactly explain about your PMC other than what I said is just your main character. So what we're going to talk about now is what insurance is. What insurance does is if you have your items insured and you die, at the end of the raid, if it is not taken by either a player or a scav, you get those items back in roughly 24 to 36 hours. But if any of your items are taken, regardless of whether it's insured, you will not get it back. So basically, it's just Tarkov's way of helping new players get their stuff back so they don't have to keep rebuying new gear sets. But there is always a chance, and this has happened to me before, that you do get good gear back in insurance because people can't always take your stuff. So it is sometimes worth it to insure. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Hideout. The Hideout is what I like to call Tarkov's version of a mobile game. It's similar to a lot of mobile games where you need to get a certain amount of resources to be able to craft and upgrade specific stations in your hideout. Now, every station you craft kind of has like their own little benefits to it. Some of them just have stat benefits, like when you're out of raid, they let you regenerate your water and your food faster, while other stations actually let you use them and let you craft items that you can use to bring into raid with you and use, to sell on the flea market, to trade with traders, as well as turn in for quest items if you need to turn them in for a specific quest. That's basically everything I would say you need to know about Tarkov before you really start playing. There are some other things that you can know, but I'm not going to cover in this video because I wanted to keep this video nice and short for you guys. I am going to put a link in the description to a playlist of mine of videos that I made for quest guides. If you need help doing any quests, I kind of run through and show you how to do the quests, as well as the Tarkov wiki. I recommend if you need any help with anything, you go to the Tarkov wiki, as it has info on basically anything, whether it be an item, a quest, scav boss, whatever you may need. You go to the Tarkov wiki and it has everything there for you. So anyways, I hope this video helped you, and good luck in Tarkov.